advantage of. You heard, I really put money in all of my artists' pocket that I deal with, and all my niggas, we get money together. I'm not one of them type of dudes, bro. See, that's the funny thing about this game. You heard, like, y'all don't talk about the backdooring that's going on. Yeah, I wanted the bag, you heard? But we got the bag. But boy still went backdoor, like, yo, for me to do the verses, you gotta give me part of this business. That had nothing to do with us. You heard? But he would say, that's me being a businessman. Nah, that's you being a sucker.
Perfect.
Cameron and Jim Jones still going at it. After the controversy, after Cameron had his interview with 50 Cent, you know, obviously Jim Jones came back with his comments. He's dropped some songs about them on his recent album. Definitely about Cameron, I should say. He did a Breakfast Club interview. And the Breakfast Club interview brought up a lot of things. Somebody brought up a potential verses, who Jim would want to see in the verses. 50 Cent's name was brought up, and Jim didn't like that being brought up. And they had their own little comments. But something that stuck out was Jim Jones kind of called out Swizz Beatz and saying, you and Cameron did some backdoor deals during the verses, and we didn't get, you know what I mean, what he got.
Right.
And he's like, yo, next time I do something for you, you definitely gonna have to make sure, you know, I'm right with it.
Yeah, Swizz, holla at me, and you backdoored me, gave that man some business that you ain't give all of us. You definitely got to give me triple Swizz, and you got to give me some real business this time. See, that's the funny thing about this game. You heard, like, y'all don't talk about the backdooring that's going on for the verses. Everybody keep keying, but yeah, I wanted the bag. You heard? But we got the bag. But boy still went backdoor, like, yo, for me to do the verses, you got to give me part of this business. That had nothing to do with us. You heard? But he would say, that's me being a businessman. Nah, that's you being a sucker doing backdoor shit. You heard? But nobody want to talk about that. I know.
We didn't know.
I ain't no backdoor ass nigga. You heard? I stand on 10 toes. Advantage of. You heard? I really put money in all of my artists' pocket that I deal with, and all my niggas, we get money together. I'm not one of them type of dudes, bro. You heard?
When you went to Cam about that, he said that, like, it's just me being a businessman?
No, Swizz told me. I had to tell Swizz I know what was going on, Jack. Call Swizz on the line, he'll tell you. I did bad, you know. Swizz my brother, zone. What's up, Zah? You heard? So I'm not talking about, I'm talking about actual factual.
How did you find out about it then?
Because I found out about a lot. You heard? That don't matter. What the matter is I got to the bottom of it to see if it was true, and I called Swizz. You heard?
So Cameron, I'm not sure if these comments that he made was in references. I think he might have actually just been speaking about the verses, or it could have been in response to Jim Jones. But Cameron spoke about the deal that he did with Swizz for the verses, and I want you to listen to it, and then you let me know. Respect and speculation. Is this grimy business, or is it just being a good businessman? I'll let you, because that's what Jim Jones said. He's like, if you would ask Cameron,
right,
he would just say it's business. You know what I mean? So
I had a tour for us lined up. For the Locks and Dipset, literally lined up. And it was about, at the time, maybe like $2.5 million, if I'm not mistaken. You know, this was a few years ago. Jim really wanted to do the verses. And I'm like, bro, we can do the verses after the tour. Y'all, and I got $2.5 million waiting, and that was just for like 10 cities. It could have ballooned up to like $6 million. I got outvoted, Steve. Nobody was listen to me about the tour. So what I said to myself was, I told Swizz and Timbaland, I said, everybody gotta get at least 6 digits. That's an artist. Got everybody their money. And I started piling my own shit. I want the door money. I want Stocks and Triller. I want beats from Timbaland and Swizz for free. I want percentage of the views that's gonna go on. And I got all that too.
So it sounds like what Cam was saying was, you know, he negotiated 6-figure deal for all the artists. And he definitely was like, well, since y'all didn't want to vote with me on the tour, I'm going to come over here to Swizz and be like, yo, I'm not showing up unless I get this. Grimy business or good business?
It's good business at the end of the day. I think it really just depends on where you fall on the spectrum. Like, this reminds me of like where Hov and Dame was. Okay. Like, you know, Dame was all about, it's about all of us. Like, you know, we all going to eat the same plate.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, Hov was like, yeah, we could all eat, but if I have a chance to get a better plate, I'm getting a better plate. And that's what Cam did. You know what I'm saying? I assume Cam may have like the rights to Dipset or something like that, or whatever. The fact that he's the one negotiating all of this stuff. And I'm not mad at him for, listen, I got everybody their bread. Now, y'all want me to show up because I'm going to be missing out on this tour money. Y'all going to give me some more bread. I can't be mad at him for that.
It's a catch-22.
Here's my thing. As long as I don't see when we talk about backdoor stuff, I don't know what their conversations were in terms of Cam and Jim and all of them. If Cam went to them like, listen, I got y'all bag, just so y'all know, I also got I got A, B, and C for myself. As long as he was transparent about it, there's nothing wrong with that.
I have a feeling he wasn't.
Huh?
I have a feeling that he wasn't, just because of the way that Jim responded about it. But I think it's hard to be, because let's just imagine ourselves in these situations. You might then be like, well, why am I just taking this? Why don't I go see what I can get? And then everybody starts calling Swizz Beatz back, and then nobody shows up. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think what Cameron realized is, at least on his side of the card, he was the draw. And he used that as leverage. Because Jim Jones and Jewels and Freaky Zeke could show up, it wouldn't feel the same.
Right.
But Cameron and Jimmy could show up, and it's Dipset. Yeah. Jewels and Cameron could show up, and it still kind of feels like it don't feel complete, but it feels
the common denominator. Cameron
has to be, and I think he was aware of that. Was like, well, add that plus y'all just made me outvoted me on this tour, which
is not bad. I mean, think Kelly and Michelle ain't gonna get the same price as Beyonce.
And I think in groups, what you said was great though about the transparency, because now it's all out in the open. Y'all know I'm the draw. Everybody, and then what y'all gonna, you know what I'm saying? But I think in his views, then yeah, Jim Jones will call and be like, I sold this many records, why don't I get da-da-da? And Jewels could say, well, I have a hit single back in da-da, why don't I get this? And then the Lock side might start doing the same thing. So I can see why it's hard to, it's funny because they'll be like, the music industry's grimy, but it's like, you kind of got to get what you can get. Now, Cameron might have been like, I'd rather go to all them cities and get what I could get from that and get the glow that I'm going to get for that. So since we're not doing that, I got to get all that in one night. Right. And do that. I don't think it's grimy business, as long as what you said was as a team, if we don't have to discuss every move we making, but as a team, as long as we know what the hierarchy is, it shouldn't be no face frowning, right?
But I think just in general speaking, not only with Dipset, I think that's where the issue lies, is that, everybody feels they're the boss, right? Jim had success of his own.
Yeah.
Jewels had a little bit. I don't, but obviously, and Cameron is Cameron. And so, while I think they know who Cameron is, I have a feeling, we just as good as you, Cam. And
you got to be confident to be a rapper. And sometimes self-awareness is the last thing that people have. It's easy to see what everybody else has, but self-awareness, I think, sometimes is the hardest.
So I'm not mad at Cam at all.
Jim Jones actually said something in the interview, too, where he said something to the effect of, like, I think he was talking about the Koch deal. And he was like, I didn't want to negotiate. He's like, I really didn't want to do that. I wanted to be in the studio or be in the streets. And he's like, I trusted someone else to do the negotiating. And I think he was alluding that Cameron had like a backdoor deal with Koch or whatever the label was at the time. But he's like, he at least in that situation had a little bit of self-awareness to say, I wasn't the businessman I was supposed to be. Right. I wasn't doing the paperwork the way I should have been doing it. And that's why certain things were allowed to happen. Where I think a lot of rappers aren't.
Right.
But yeah, it's a catch-22, and Cameron came out and he showed the text from Jim Jones and everything. Jim Jones actually said he would do it for free, the Verzuz. Because he was just, that's how bad it was, like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And I think Cameron read that and was like, all right, well, if you want to do it I'm not doing it for free.
Yeah, I mean, even I didn't know about that, but hearing that he said, wrote a text saying I do it for free. You can't be mad at what Cam got himself.
That's a metaphor though, like, I think.
No, I believe he would have. I believe he would have just for because you're out there, you're getting shine. You can then turn around.
Your music has a bump
and monopolize off of that. Yeah. So, the fact that you're doing it, maybe he ain't even have nothing else going on that night. So I'll do it for free. I'm showing up, all of that. So,
it's the difference between doing it for the culture, whereas Cameron's like, I got to get my bag. Like, I'm just good business.
They just have to understand each other. And like, we ain't tight like that. This is business.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to get what I'm worth. You're going to get what you worth. And you got to be all right with that.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think where they say, like, don't mix business with friends and family. I think if everything isn't upfront and everything, but I think as long as people know, like, and I think I've worked in collaborative efforts with a lot of other people. I've known when I'm doing 75% of the work, and I know when I'm doing 25% of the work. And there's no way I could do 25% of the work and honestly look you in the face and say, give me 75% of the money.
Right.
And I think as long as people understand that hierarchy, now when people don't know what people do, I think that's when it's like, well, what is it that you're getting paid for? Why is it that, why am I splitting the pie with you? But I think as long as people know what their roles are, I think everything can work. And I think a lot of these friendhood situations, I won't say hood, just I think it beyond the hood actually. And anything where it's like a familial, we're not going to discuss all the detailed situations. It's like I think that gets lost, and you got to take the time to like hammer out those details.
Yeah, and I truly believe like Jim believes that he's just as popping as Cam on the same level. And so if you truly believe that, then you're really gonna feel like what he's doing is effed up.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I'm trying to. I can't even dispute that he's not, but I'm sure in his world it's got to be even more amplified because people are coming up to him.
You see, so well, yeah, in his mind, like if I had to look at it from the outside, I would just say he's not. He's not. I do think Cam is the draw. Cam is the slightly bigger artist. You want to talk about? You see, I don't even know about catalog because.
So for right now, we know Cameron for it is what it is. That's the what Cameron does.
That's what Cameron does now.
Now, whereas Jim Jones is still doing rap,
right?
And I think in his mind, he's like, I'm still keeping us alive in the rap world. You know, you might still be having us popping in some.
And Jim, if you look at sales, I mean, he made just because of what Ballin did, it
not be far from Cam,
right? Just off of that 1.5 year stretch that he went on,
If he is close to Cameron, not because of just balling, quantity over
right? Because he's always constantly
so I think
putting out music.
Even if all of those, let's just say gold isn't bad, but let's just say for the sake of this conversation, say all of them went gold, it might add up to what Cameron sold with his fewer albums. So yeah, it's hard to. It really takes a lot of. I think the groups that you see that last the test of time, they're aware of. I just come to play the drums. Like I'm not trying to be the organizer. That Wu-Tang works because RZA is known as the organizer. I think it's not everybody trying to do what RZA does, and by him just being that one and then keeping good relationships with everybody, I think that's what brings
everybody know their role.
And it works. I don't think it was always like that. It took time for them to get there, but they're able to still go on tour now or just do a residency because of knowing the importance of having a central leader, I think, in their situation. What's good, y'all? It's your man, DJ Playboy, and I'm here with my guy, Spec, and we representing for the Perfect Talk podcast.
Make sure y'all like and subscribe, people.
And, of course, hop in the comments. Let us know what you thinking. And go check out the website, www.perfecttalkpodcast.com. All the episodes right there.
Yes, sir. Peace.